Well, lads, what's the crack, and welcome back to my Premier League prediction series. And today we look forward to Matchweek 12. I hope you all have had a fantastic international break over the past week. I know for sure I definitely have. However, coming back to the Premier League, it actually does look like a very exciting Matchweek. I do believe some very good fixtures in there, very heated rivalries as well coming up this weekend. And of course, I do believe it is going to be a brilliant Matchweek to return to the just the things and return to club football after the November international break. Looking at how we did them before the international break, and I had one of my greatest weeks in prediction history. I would score 10 points out of 20, which doesn't sound like a lot. However, that is a lot, of course, if you have been following me over the past number of years. 2 correct results. I'm predicting Spurs 2, United 2, as well as Force 3, Leeds 1, of course. But overall, got the majority of results correct as well. Thrilled with my result there from the previous match week. So hopefully now that's a new big standard I've set myself, and I'm hoping then to go on to bigger and better things, starting off with match week 12. As always, remember to subscribe, like the video, click the bell, share this with as many people as possible, and leave a comment as well. It really does go a long way to give me as much support as possible. And so then let's get into this Premier League predictions for match week 12. And so starting off match week 12 then at Turf Moor, it's the Clarets Burnley hosting the Blues. Chelsea here in this one. Lost him out. Chelsea, I do believe, would destroy Wolves 3-0 on home turf in a fantastic display of total football there from Enzo Maresca's side. And coming into this match, they definitely have been in some pretty good form as of recently too. Burnley, on the other hand, however, have been struggling definitely for sure. Their last match was a narrow 3-2 defeat away to West Ham there, but a match which, yes, had more shots than West Ham. However, they weren't really deserving to win that one, in my opinion. So the past number of weeks and past number of games for Burnley, it's been a couple of losses in a row too, so things aren't looking too good here. And coming into this one as well, Chelsea have an extremely good record and not only winning games at Turf Moor and not losing at Turf Moor, but they also very regularly do score loads of goals at Turf Moor as well. So I'm going to say this one here, Chelsea will continue on from their brilliant form and Burnley will continue their poor form. I'm going to say Chelsea will kick things off back from the international break with a very comfortable 3-1 victory come the final whistle away from home here. I'm going to say 2-0 at half time. Goals will come through the 2 new signings for the striker position this summer. João Pedro will open the scoring after 20 minutes, and then 10 minutes on from that then I'm going to say Liam Delap will score what I believe is going to be his first Premier League goal with Chelsea. Obviously, he has had a bit of a disruptive season with his injury early on. However, I do believe that's going to be his first Premier League goal for Chelsea. I'm going to say it comes here and that's going to make it 2-0 going into half time. I'm going to say then Burnley will score first in the second half, and around the hour mark it's going to be former Chelsea midfielder Lazi Ugochukwu who's going to score his 3rd goal of the campaign for the Clarets. However, the icing will be put on top of the cake with a goal laid on by the Spanish striker Marc Guéhiou. He should have scored against Wolves. He's going to score in this one here, however, and he is going to put the cherry on top for Chelsea and a brilliant and very comfortable victory 3-1 away from home against Burnley here. Next, then we go to the Vitality Stadium. It's AFC Bournemouth hosting West Ham United here in this one. Bournemouth coming into this one aren't in the best form after overall a very good start of the season. They definitely have dipped in form. I mean, after their 3-1 defeat away to Man City, they would lose 4-0 away to Aston Villa in a really embarrassing display there by the Cherries, of course. Meanwhile, for West Ham, obviously, as we have just mentioned, a 3-2 victory at home to Burnley. Not too comfortable, however. Back-to-back victories now under Nuno, and so things definitely are looking a lot brighter for the Hammers. And coming into this one here, of course, West Ham don't have the worst record at the Vitality Stadium too. Callum Wilson returning against his former side definitely could be interesting. And of course, players like Antoine Semenyo and Justin Kluivert are both injured as well, amongst a horde of other players for the Cherries in this one. So Bournemouth coming into this one definitely are a bit more disadvantaged, and it definitely could be used to West Ham's benefit in this one here. So you know what, lads, I'm going to say West Ham will continue their newfound decent form under Nuno Espirito Santo, and I'm confident they can get something from this one away from home. I'm going to go for an entertaining 2-2 draw on the final whistle here on the south coast of England. It's going to be 1-0 to the Hammers going into the half time. I think it's going to be Crescencio Somerville scoring the only goal of the first half and giving Nuno's side a 1-0 lead going into the break. Early in the second half then I'm going to say an equaliser by Marcus Tavernier is going to get the Cherries back on track. However, that equaliser is going to be cancelled out with about 20 minutes to go, and it's going to be Jared Bowen who's going to regain West Ham's lead, and he's going to give West Ham a massive chance to get all 3 points. However, that's not going to happen. A late equaliser by the Brazilian striker Evan Nielsen will do enough to secure a vital point for the Cherries here at the Vitality Stadium. Ultimately, West Ham, I do believe, will be the better team. However, Bournemouth have the quality to get at least a draw. It's not going to be good from Bournemouth's point of view. However, it will be a brilliant result away from home for Nuno's Hammers. And now next we go to the Amex Stadium, and it's the Seagulls Brighton hosting the Bees Brentford here in this one. Now, once again, coming into this one, actually, it is a very interesting fixture. Brighton last time out were drawn 0-0 away to their fierce rivals Crystal Palace at Sellers Park. Meanwhile, Brentford would defeat the struggling Newcastle side 3-1 on home turf as well. Brentford, as of recently especially, have been in very good form, playing some brilliant football as well. However, Brighton too, even though maybe the results over the past number of games haven't looked as good as Brentford's, they still are playing some good football in my opinion, and are still very well capable of winning this one. This one for me is very unpredictable. It could go any way. It could be high scoring, it could be low scoring, it could be a home win and away win, a draw. It could literally go anywhere in this one here, and I wouldn't blame you for whatever prediction you do go for here in this one. However, I'm going to go for a bit more of a simpler prediction here, and I'm going to say the Seagulls Brighton will end Brentford's good form with a big 2-1 home victory here. I'm going to say at the Amex. I'm going to say all 3 goals will actually come in the first half. 20 minutes gone, I'm going to say the French attacker Jorginho Rutter is going to score his first Premier League goal of the season, giving the Seagulls a 1-0 lead. And 15 minutes on from that, then I'm going to back Lewis Dunk to score a bullet header in past Stephen Kelleher, and he is going to make it 2-0 then. However, right in the stroke of half time, I'm going to back Dango Ouattara to get Brentford a goal back. However, ultimately, nothing will happen here in the second half. Brighton will hold on to a big victory and a big 3 points and a massive win on home turf against the Bees here in this one. And now next we go to Craven Cottage's Fulham hosting the Black Cats, Sunderland here in this one. Of course, Sunderland last time out. It was a 2-2 draw at home to Arsenal, the current league leaders. What a result and what a performance there, of course, by the Black Cats. However, I do believe Dan Ballard might be missing from this one. I could be wrong. I do believe he did pick up a bit of an injury against Arsenal, so if he's missing from this one, of course, which it could be the case, of course, but I'm not 100% sure there, it definitely could be a big loss for sure. Meanwhile, look for Fulham, it was a 2-0 defeat away to the top as Everton last time out, and currently, of course, it's been a poor run of form recently for the Cottagers, and Marco Silva's job all of a sudden is officially now on the line. So this match is high stakes, high pressure for Fulham and Marco Silva here in this one. However, simply lads are just not in good form. Meanwhile, the Black Cats have been absolutely fantastic so far this season, and currently there just doesn't seem to be too much of a positive vibe going around Fulham after what wasn't the worst start of the season. It definitely hasn't been too positive as of recently. So in my opinion, Sunderland will continue their momentum following the international break here in this one. I'm going to say this one is going to be one of Fulham's most embarrassing Premier League results in recent history, as Sunderland are going to destroy the Cottagers 3-0 away from home here. I'm going to say it's going to be 2-0 going into half time. Enzo Lafay after 15 minutes is going to open the scoring as the Frenchman gives the Black Cats the 1-0 lead. And before half time, I'm going to say the fellow Frenchman, the striker Wilson Isidore, will double the lead then, as Reggie Labre's side will be leading 2-0 going into the break. In the second half, then I'm going to say the goal will come through the fullback formerly of Atletico Madrid and Reinildo of all players. The Mozambique international is going to make a 3-0 on the hour mark here, and ultimately there's going to be boost the full time. It's going to be a toxic atmosphere come the whistle at the end. It's going to be a fantastic victory as the Black Cats continue their insane form this season. Meanwhile, for Fulham, it's going to be yet another terrible defeat in embarrassing fashion as the pressure will continue to mount on Marco Silva's back. And now next we go to Anfield. It's Liverpool hosting Nottingham Forest here in this one. An extremely interesting match. Liverpool definitely need a massive victory after the international break. After last time out, it was a terrible, embarrassing 3-0 defeat away from home against Man City, of course. And of course, it just was complete domination there from Man City. Liverpool just looked terrible throughout the game, and it was quite clear there was only one team who turned up on the day there in the Etihad Stadium. However, this is a massive opportunity for Arne Slot's side. Now, international breaks are over. Between now and the end of March, it's just complete pure club football. No international breaks. This is now the stage of the season where Liverpool have to look at themselves and say, we're not going to do what Man City did last season. We're not going to do what the title winners before us have done. We are going to get back to winning ways, and we are going to be up there for the rest of the season. So this is the game where they need to prove that is the case. However, it's not going to be easy whatsoever. Nottingham Forest are a bogey team of Liverpool, and of course, with Liverpool's current form, this is the perfect time for a bogey team like Forest to take a big result in this one, of course. course. So it'll be interesting to see how Sean they decide to get on, especially after their 3-1 win at home to Leeds last time out. So it looks like they definitely are heading for him at the right time. And with a low block system implemented as well, it definitely could be one which Liverpool will be struggling. However, you know what, lads, as much as I'd love to see Forest nick a result here in this one at Anfield, I do believe Liverpool will have a very positive start to things after the international break. I'm going to say Arne Slot's side will get back to winning ways with a very good, very positive 2-0 victory from the final whistle here in Anfield. I'm going to say the goals will come through. Hugo Ekitike in the first half then after about 30-35 minutes, making it 1-0 going into half time. And in the second half then I'm going to say Alexi McAllister will double the lead in here in this one. The Argentinian will make it 2-0, and it's going to be overall a brilliant afternoon here at Anfield as Liverpool get a fantastic 3 points on home turf against their current bogey team, I guess you could say, and Nottingham Forest here. Next time we go to the Molyneux Stadium, it's Wolves hosting Crystal Palace here in this one. Once again, should be interesting, especially with Wolves. Their new manager has been appointed, and it is Rob Edwards, who has left Middlesbrough after only a number of months in the job after replacing Michael Clark in the summer, and he is now back in the Premier League. In my opinion, is it a good appointment there? I mean, it's okay. However, it is definitely a weak appointment in my opinion. Is Rob Edwards a guy who can save this Wolves team from the drop? He simply isn't, lads, in my opinion. However, there definitely could be a manager bounce, I guess, and this one definitely could be a winnable game because Palace, as of recently, have been in a bit of mixed form, and I know a big reason of that is because of European football too. However, still, I do believe this game definitely could be very tight and much closer than many people could be expecting as well. I think it's going to be a very high scoring one, lads, here. Wolves still do have quality on their side, and I do believe under a new manager now, with a new manager bounce too possibly, they definitely could finally get their act together this season and get a couple of good results and string together, of course. However, only time will tell, of course, here in this one, but do I believe Wolves have enough to defeat this Crystal Palace side who, yes, still are very good at the minute under Oliver Glasner? No. In my opinion, lads, this one's going to be very entertaining and very high scoring. However, it's going to be heartbreaking stuff here as Wolves will lose yet another match here in dramatic fashion as Palace will manage to get a smash and grab 3-2 victory away from him here from the final whistle. I'm going to say within the first 5 minutes of the match actually that Jurgen Strand Larsen will give the home side the 1-0 lead. However, going into half time, it's going to be 1-1 thanks to a goal by Chris Richards from a corner with 20 minutes on from that opener. In the second half, however, I'm going to say very early on once again, it's going to be the Haitian midfielder Jean-Rickner Bellegarde who's going to give Wolves the lead once again here in this one, making it 2-1. However, a brace laid on by Jean-Philippe Matata is going to save Palace a massive 3 points here in this one. And although Wolves will look in the day and look much improved under Rob Edwards, simply, once again, leaky defence is not going to help them, and Palace's quality is going to shine through here as Palace, despite not being at their best here in this one, and despite Wolves looking much better as well, I'm going to say still Glasgow side will have the resilience to shine through and will manage to get a massive 3 points away from home here against Rob Edwards Wolves. And now we finish off a hectic Saturday of football in the Premier League at St James's Park. It's the Magpies Newcastle United hosting Man City here in this one. A massive game. However, I tell you what, lads, Newcastle at the minute, do I have much confidence in them, especially coming up against Man City, who currently are in very good form? Maybe there is an ounce, because Newcastle still can turn up in these games, especially on home turf. You should never count them out. However, coming into this one, of course, still isn't a good position whatsoever for Newcastle, because week in, week out, before the international break, they were just shipping goals left, right and centre. Their defence at the minute is absolutely woeful too, and I mean, just going forward, they just don't have enough forward firepower. The forwards, apart from Nick Voltamata, just aren't really performing consistently. I know Harvey Barnes is doing okay this season, but Anthony Elanga, for example, just hasn't hit the ground running whatsoever this season. Meanwhile, for Man City, as each game does go on, they're just getting better and better, and he's saying how dominant they were, and their fantastic victory at home to Liverpool last time out too. And Erling Haaland is just an absolute beast at the minute too, of course. He scored 16 goals in 8 matches in the World Cup qualifiers for Norway, helping Norway to their first World Cup in decades. That is scary, lads. And he's hit 30 goals across club and country already this season. Lads, we haven't even reached December yet. That is absolutely insane stuff. And at the minute, he is not slowing down whatsoever. So you know what, lads? Newcastle at the minute have just been terrible. City, on the other hand, have been looking fantastic. And although, yes, Newcastle can always have an opportunity of getting a result in these types of games, especially at St James's Park, I'm going to say, lads, this season is going to be different here. I'm going to say Newcastle are going to fall to yet another another embarrassing result here, and City are going to destroy the Magpies 4-1 away from home from the final whistle here. I'm going to say 3-0 at half time, a brace by Erling Haaland as well as a goal by Ryan Cherky is going to end what is going to be a miserable 45 minutes for the home side. And with 15 minutes to go, then I'm going to say Omar Marmoush off the bench will get his first goal of the season, making a 4-0 here. In injury time, I'm going to say Harvey Barnes will get a late consolation goal. However, Newcastle, the damage will be done for them. The goal will not matter whatsoever. It's going to be yet another embarrassing display here as pressure continues to mount on Eddie Howe's side. However, it's going to be yet another massive statement of intent as Man City show Arsenal and the legs ahead of them in the title race that they're not a side to count out whatsoever this season. Now we go to Super Sunday, and starting off with a very interesting affair here at Elland Road as Leeds United are welcoming Aston Villa here in this one. Two traditional Premier League clubs facing off against each other. Should be a brilliant atmosphere. However, will it be a brilliant match is the question, and to be honest lads, I can't see it being, of course. Now I know Villa as of recently have been in pretty good form, getting wins left, right and centre. Leeds on the other hand, of course, haven't been great as of recently, so the smart money would go towards Aston Villa here in this one surely. However, you know what lads, I think Leeds will perform good here in this one, and to be honest, like Villa still aren't perfect with themselves, of course, so in my opinion, like Villa, can I see them actually doing good in this one? To be honest lads, it's just a strange thing, a strange feeling I've got that I just cannot see Villa performing well and up to standard here in this one. So you know what lads, I'm going to actually say it's going to be a goalless 0-0 draw on the final whistle here at Elland Road. Neither side is going to be good enough whatsoever. Villa in my opinion are just going to have an off day yet again on the forward line. Lazy once again will just be ineffective and not good enough going forward too, but both sides will defend well enough, and ultimately I'm going to say a goalless 0-0 draw on what is going to be overall a boring affair at Elland Road come the final whistle. And now here we are lads, it is the big hitter of Matchweek 12. It's the North London derby lads. This is the Emirates Stadium. It's Arsenal the Gunners hosting Spurs here in this one. Always a massive affair, always a brilliant encounter when both these sides face off against each other. Spurs still hunting down their first win at the Emirates since 2010. It's been 15 years. Will it go 16? Only time will tell, of course, but it should be interesting as well. Arsenal, yes, this season have been pretty much flawless for the majority of the season. However, that 2-2 draw away to Sunderland last time out does show there still is cracks on Arteta's side, and after seeing Gabriel Magalhaes go off injured and Rula injured as well in Brazil's 2-0 win against Senegal, which ironically was at the Emirates Stadium too during the international break as well, that does not bode well whatsoever for Arsenal, because Gabriel, I don't like him personally, of course. It's just something about him I just don't like about him. However, I can admit he has been one of the best players in the world this season. You know, as a defender and from set pieces too, he is such a danger. So the loss of him, in my opinion, is going to be detrimental not only for the defensive line but also for set pieces as well. And that definitely can be used to Tottenham's advantage. However, Tottenham still themselves are missing yet again half the squad. What are Tottenham's medics doing, lads? What is the Tottenham health department doing? Because year in year out they're just riddled with injuries, and it just happens every single season. Honestly, like Spurs always have half their squad injured by this stage every single year. So to be honest lads, Spurs have too many injuries. Yes, Gabriel's going to be a big loss. However, in this one I do believe Arsenal have enough quality throughout the pitch to just about survive here. And so you know what lads, I'm going to say Arsenal will yet again continue their fantastic North London derby record, and they're going to make Tottenham's wait for a win at the Emirates go another year longer. It's going to be a big 2-1 victory here as Arsenal will gain the bragging rights in North London once again here. It's going to be 1-1 at half time. The opener will be scored after 30 minutes then, a patient 30 minutes before the opener being scored by Abraki Eze. I'm going to say he'll score the opener here, making it 1-0. However, right in the stroke of half time, Tottenham will gain a bit of hope through an equaliser by the French attacker Matthias Tell. However, I'm going to say the decisive goal scorer in the second half with 20 minutes to go is going to be the Spaniard in midfield, Martin Zubimendi. He is going to win the North London derby here in this one and saving Arsenal yet again a massive victory in the North London derby over their bitter rival Spurs, as Spurs yet again, their Emirates hoodoo will continue another season. And now we finish off Matchweek 12 with Monday Night Football, and on the rare occasion, Monday Night Football is going to be at Old Trafford as Man United are welcoming Everton here. It's been so long. It's been years actually since Man United have been in the Monday night or Friday night slots. So it's going to be a very weird watch this one here for sure. However, still looking forward to it, of course. 5 games undefeated coming into this one, of course, too. So we've had a decent run of it. However, 2 back-to-back 2-all draws hasn't boded too well for us. Everton, on the other hand, however, are a decent side, and David Moyes, his side, is always capable of getting a result against you. And so here in this one, like, even though we should be favourites, even though we should definitely be winning this one, we still do have a couple injury woes. Benjamin Šeško was out for a month. I don't even know why. I haven't a clue why he went to Slovenia, even though he came off against Spurs injured. That's honestly so stupid there. But Šeško's out anyway. Casemiro's out as well here in this one. Harry Maguire's out too. If Casemiro's out especially, we definitely could struggle big time here in this one. And you know what, lads? I'm actually going to assume Casemiro is ruled out here in this one. Well, I'm going to at least assume he's got a bit of a knock, which will cause him to not play as good as he should play. And you know what, lads? I'm actually confident we're going to win this one here. To be honest, I'm not. I'm going to say actually this one will finish an uninspiring 1-1 draw from the final whistle here on Monday night. The first half will start very good for us. I'm going to say Amad Diallo will score after 20 minutes, then giving us the 1-0 lead going into the break. However, in the second half, I'm going to say we're just going to be asleep at the back line especially. I'm going to say Iliman and Jai will equalise, making a 1-1 here and saving the toffees, what is going to be a crucial point away from home. However, lads, to be honest, Man United here in this one, I just can't see us playing good, and I can't see us getting the win here in this one. I'm sorry, but I believe Everton will do enough and be good enough to get a 1-1 draw from the final whistle here at Old Trafford. Anyway, lads, there you go. There's my Premier League predictions for Matchweek 12. What do you think about what I've said? Let me know in the comments below. Are my predictions good or the bad? Let me know in the comments below as well. As always, lads, remember to like the video, subscribe if you're new, click the bell, and share this to as many people as possible. And leave a comment as well too. Leave your thoughts, leave your predictions down below as well. I would love to read them and hear from you, lads. And so then, lads, I'll see you all in the next one here on KDFG.